Here we go.
Yeah. Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Good Friday. Welcome to the market of the moment.
Yeah.
There we go. We got an intro music in today.
Hey, man, for sure.
Every day I'm hustling. Week of April 11th, market of the moment update. Michael Oldham and Chris Madrid here with you. Hey, on a good Friday.
Very good Friday.
So happy Easter to everyone out there. Got some exciting real estate news, mortgage news to bring to you today. So we're going to start off. Chris Madrid going to update us on our mortgage rates. What's going on with those today, Mr. Madrid?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you know what's funny? I feel like week after week, for the most part, we come on with just bad news, right? And unfortunately today's no different, right? So it's April the 15th. Thank the Lord the markets are closed today, because yesterday was just horrific. I think we had three increases in rates on a 30-year fixed, right? If you were looking to purchase a home, 30-year fixed, we are now pushing like 5.2, 5.3 range. And again, it's not unexpected, right? We fully expected rates to tick up with inflation, having such a huge impact on bonds and mortgage-backed securities. That correlation, again, for people that are watching and listening and hearing, as long as inflation is at the levels that it is, expect mortgage rates to also be kind of creeping up. If you see, right, if like the easiest thing to probably look at and track is the 10-year treasury. And I mean, that has been at all, here recently, we've seen that, that go from, I'm pulling up my little cheat sheet here. I mean, we've seen that go from 1.5, right, at the beginning of the year, up to where it closed yesterday, right? So bond market closed early yesterday for Good Friday, and it closed at 2.82. So again, if we saw rates 3 months ago in the 3% range, right, 3%, and the the bond market or the 10-year treasury yield was 1.5, 1.6, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that if the bond is now at 2.82, rates are going to be significantly higher, right? I mean, that's just the reality. So yes, thankfully markets closed early yesterday. They're definitely closed today. So not a whole lot of movement in mortgage rates, in long-term mortgage rates. But again, we're still pushing 5.2, 5.3. Expectation, right, for the rest of the year is that we're going to continue to creep up a little bit. Good news, right, is there, some of the things that I follow and read is there may be a potential for slight recession fourth quarter, first quarter of next year. And normally what we see and what we've seen historically is that anytime there is a recession, within a few months, mortgage rates will definitely come down. So there may be, some good opportunity to if you're buying now, right, possibly being able to refinance next year, right, or maybe in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So again, it's not the end of the world by any means. The biggest thing, right, and this is kind of, we're now transitioning into home buying 101, right? Everybody wants to look at homes, and we get all excited about starting the process online, or with your favorite realtors, the Oldhams or something, right? And it really should be with a mortgage company.
Yes.
And in order to do that, you need to have all of your ducks in a row, right? There, I have several conversations where we're waiting on customers to send in documents, or we're waiting on this and we're waiting on that. And that is a great way to not get your offer accepted in this market. Exactly. Right? Yeah. So before you even get online to look at homes, my recommendation is always, hey, make sure you have if you're a W-2 employee, your last 2 years W-2s, most recent 30-day pay stubs, and 2 months worth of bank statements. have that accessible, ready to go as quickly as possible at the drop of a hat, right? Because that's going to be the most important thing. Right now, we're seeing that, majority of the offers that we're winning are on fully underwritten files, right? If you went online or called an 800 number and they sent you a pre-qual letter or pre-approval letter and you haven't provided any documentation, that letter means this much. Can you see it on there? Zero means zero. So especially in this type of market, again, sellers are educated. If they're not educated, their listing agents are super educated, and they're telling them, hey, we're not looking at just a Joe Schmo mortgage company pre-qual letter, right?
Yeah.
We want to make sure it's local, something that we can, if we have any questions, if something comes up, we have their cell phone number, we can call them and we know they're going to pick up the phone, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So, I mean, those I cannot stress that enough for our people that are watching. Have your documentation ready. If you're self-employed, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, right? You need to have 2 years worth of tax returns. And then also we'll need to have a year-to-date profit and loss.
Yeah.
You're not going to have W-2s. You're not going to have pay stubs. But we'll need your tax returns for the last 2 years. If it's April, right? So the filing deadline is upon us. So if you haven't filed your 2021 taxes, you'll need to have an extension ready and available. And then we'll need your 19 and 20 tax returns instead of your 20 and 21, right? So super important to have those financial ducks in a row. And again, at the drop of a hat, you need to be able to provide them and then updated, right? If it it's going to take, we're seeing that it's taking now 6 months, maybe. Oldham, is that a good estimate on getting an offer accepted?
Well, if you're working with some agents, it might take you 6 months, but not if you're working with me.
Well, hey, there you go. So, but what's a good?
Yes,
so maybe
it
2-3
does
months.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a 3 to 6 months process once you start.
Okay.
Hopefully it's not taking us 3 to 6 months to get you under contract, because that would mean we're losing and losing and losing. But we don't do that very often because we link them with you. They're underwritten, and when we present an offer to a listing agent, we know we have a local lender. The lender most likely knows the listing agent and has spoke with them in the past, and they're fully through underwriting. So it's almost a cash deal.
Yeah.
Our last buyers, I don't think, get their home if they're not working with Chris, the local lender. I just don't believe they're in a house right now if they're with a out-of-state lender or something of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, that's the tough realities. They're not even being considered, right? And that is the hard reality I think that a lot of people are facing, is that this is what they've been told, right? They're boots on the ground real estate agent has been telling them, hey, if we're going to have a shot in this market, you need to talk to somebody local, right? And there's hesitation, there's for whatever reason they don't want to, or they don't, whatever it is, right? But then they're finding out 2, 3, 4 months later, I might need to have a conversation with that local lender to get buttoned up that way. But yeah, I mean, obviously the market's still great, right? I mean, we saw a little bit more inventory come this week, so that's great news. But again, the general consensus down the road from just an overall market perspective is we don't see it letting up anytime soon, right? I mean, their houses aren't being built like that. So so it is something that we're going to continue to see as we move throughout the rest of this year, next year, 5 years from now. We'll still have kind of an inventory problem.
So yeah, Chris is talking buyer 101, and it's basically buyer agent 101 as well. As a buyer's agent, the first step after securing your client, that's the first step with a buyer, is you as the agent securing them as your client. The next step is to then get them in touch with a quality lender. We prefer Chris Madrid, somebody local. that gets them through underwriting, not just that piece of paper that says, they got pre-approval. Because as Chris said, that's not worth much more than what it's written on. A good listing agent's going to pick up the phone. They're going to call that LO. They're going to ask the LO if they've actually looked at this buyer's pay stubs, tax returns, or if this was just verbal information. And if that LO says it's verbal, that listing agent's telling their seller, we're going to look at another offer. So a lot of out-of-state buyers come to Texas. Not every lender lends in the state of Texas. So something else you need to find out as a buyer's agent and as a buyer is if you are working with a lender in California or New Jersey or Florida, do they even lend in Texas? Because I have found out some of the buyers coming from out of state are working with lenders and they don't even lend in Texas. So that might be something else you ask. I know Chris can lend in multiple states. So guaranteed rate, a national company. So anyway, buyer 101, buyer agent 101, get with a lender from the get-go, get all your ducks in a row, get your information to them in a timely fashion, and get through the underwriting process. So like Chris gives you a commitment to lend. And once you have that letter, it's basically like submitting a cash offer. We can pretty much go in, no financing, contingencies, and roll with the offer. So anyway, hopefully buyers and buyers agents can get a little something out of that. And anything else to share before we roll on?
No, man, let's keep moving forward.
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna try. So last week I was sitting here talking about I didn't think the market had very much room to move.
Any place to go.
And this week it showed us it did have some places to go, and that was up as far as sales price to list price. So as we look through our stats today, you'll see some magenta numbers on here. Last week, if you would go back and review last week's report, all of these were yellow because everything was basically staying the same. Chris mentioned last week, this was going to be a big week in the market, possibly. We'll talk about that here in a minute, but it was. So in Collin County, we are now up to 8.5% over list is your average pricing, and that is up 2.6%, nearly 3% over last week in price appreciation. Our days on market stayed the same, about 5, very hard to get lower than that right now. And we did pick up 1 point of a month supply, or a point of a year supply. So we added a little bit towards a month, getting closer to a month's supply in Collin County. Denton County, trending very much like Collin as always. It is up to 1.6%, nearly 7% over list. Denton County starts West Frisco, Little Elm area, and then moving westward toward Fort Worth. That area is just booming right now. We've had a couple recent sales and listings coming up in there. And as I keep my eye on that market, it's constantly climbing and climbing. Once again, same as far as days on market, and once again, gained a little bit more supply in Denton County. I don't know if this is builders getting a few more things on the ground, or this week being the known as the best week to sell your home has something to do with that. I guess next week will probably tell that a little bit. Dallas County, nearly 4% over list price in Dallas County. That is up 2.2% from last week. 6 days on market is down a little bit, and the month supply stayed the same. Moving up to Grayson County, I think this is the first time since we started doing this. Gosh, we're getting close to a year in doing this market report. And this is the first month in our time period that Grayson County has climbed over 100% sales price to list price. So we talked about Grayson County was the place to go get you a deal these last 6 months.
Oh my
Now you
gosh.
can still get a deal, but you're going to
True.
pay over list price for that deal. And
Yeah.
this probably
Hey,
has something.
not 8.5% though. Or again,
Not,
not 15%, right? Or gosh,
true.
that may be even 20% now.
I ran comps last night for a property we have coming up in Denton County, and one of the comps sold for 20.7% over
Gosh.
list.
So again, that's great, right? I mean, that's great data. So in Denton
Yeah.
County, we're seeing the average of 7% over list. And again, that means there are going to be those, and most likely that, that property Oldham, like we talked about before, that's a, it's got the quartz or granite, it's got the, the painted cabinets, it's
Mhm.
updated, right? 20% over list is, I mean, it just seems like it's for that type of property. It seems like it's, it's becoming more and more the norm. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I would imagine there's some distressed properties in Denton County that are not going over list, right? And those are where that's where this number comes from. So I think it's super important again for agents that are on 5 days on market, right? Everybody looks at this and says, well, why isn't this 1 day, right? That's a very simple answer, right? And I'm not even an agent. You list on Wednesday, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they're probably getting under contract on Monday, right? So there's your 5 days. So it's, all that people always ask, well, why is it why is it 5 days on the market? Why is it 11 days on the market? Well, because I mean, most of the time your agents are going to, much like y'all, when you go to list that property, you're probably going to list it midweek, and then you're going to stop accepting offers, Sunday at 5 or 6, and then you're going to be talking to your seller on Monday, and then probably accepting one of those.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. So yeah, we really can't get much down. If we look down here into Dallas County, their days on market actually climbed up a day. But Grayson County, you're at 11 days. Moving over to Tarrant County, climbed almost up 2% in Tarrant County. Days on market down a day, and the month supply went up just a tad. Parker County, another rural county that was trending the last 6-7 months under list price. You're now over list price in Parker County as well.
Yep.
19 days on market, and you got a 1.2 month supply there, but that actually ticked down from last week. And I didn't get any recent data on Rockwall, but being the rocket scientist that I am, I would most likely say that it's trending anywhere from 2 to 2.3%, most likely, like your Dallas and Denton counties. Your days on market probably stayed about the same month supply, but I would say the Rockwall County sales to list price probably went to 103 to 104 probably during that time. And then, just kind of looking for possible reasons why the market, I guess, inventory possibly ticked up a little bit this week is, just simple data and just facts. Realtor.com, all the data that they can accrue basically comes up with the week of the 10th through the 16th, which is this week, is the hottest and the best time to list your house. So, like anything, probably the week before or the week before that or 2 weeks after this, is still a good time to list your house. Anytime's a good time right now, I feel, to list your house. Real quick story, I'd shared it before on my Facebook, but we had some agents in our network. One of their neighbors got an offer pad or open door offer for, I believe it was $515. And this is also out in that Denton, Collin County border area, kind of your Denton, Little Elm, Lake Dallas area. So these agents convinced these sellers to just give them 2 days to put this house on the market. A a Thursday, Friday. We'll have it under contract Saturday for you. We really think we need to take this 515 offer. Like, we never thought we'd get this much for our house. Just give us 2 days, let us show it, and let's just see what happens. Before they put it on the market, they got an offer for 550. They put it on the market. It's under contract for $618,000.
$100,000 more.
Yes, than the offer pad. 80 to 85,000 basically. So,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So I currently, have an offer from OfferPad on one of my upcoming listings. So we, as an agent, your agent should check every avenue for you. They should look for cash buyers, because at the end of the day, maybe the best offer is not the highest price. Maybe it's the one that allows you to stay in your house longer.
Right.
So anyway, we are definitely look at the offer, run that sheet, see what we think we could possibly get on it on the open market. You got to let your seller see both sides of the story, and they ultimately decide how they want to handle those situations. But just as the Oldham team, you can always count on us to take your property to every potential buyer, because at the end of the day, you don't have to take anything. So it doesn't hurt to get low offers, high offers, and anything in between. So
yeah, and really, I mean, that leads into another, obviously another great point is, the standard, for right now is if you're listing on Wednesday, accepting an offer, or going under contract on Monday, I mean, you want to capitalize and you want to have the most amount of people view that property as possible, right? I mean, that's how you get these crazy offers, because you have more traffic going through. Again, not to knock the 2 days, right? 2 days is great. It got 80 something, 90 something thousand over, but there's always that possibility of, what would another 2 days do, right? If you had more visibility, more people come through, more traffic. I mean, those are all the, all the things that we're, with our realtor partners as well, that we're talking about. Hey, don't limit yourself. Every situation is different also, right? That particular seller, he wanted it done as quickly as possible. So then the 2 days worked out. So I think that's another key component as well, is really listen, right, to what your client is asking at the end of the day, and needing, right, what their wants and needs are. And then ultimately you're providing, you're being that resource, you're being the expert that can then help them navigate that process as efficiently as possible.
Definitely. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up for the week. Lots of real estate news out there. Make sure you grab it from Chris and I. We trying to, well, there is no try. We are on top
every week
of the DFW market every week. We haven't missed too many weeks, and we are definitely on it every day. Just trying to give you the most valuable information that you can get. So
absolutely. Hey, what, Josh, before we go, real quick story. I was watching, again, we do this all day, every day, right? So I'm watching and reading and seeing and all this stuff. Man, I caution people, right? Especially buyers, especially first time home buyers, move up buyers. I was watching it was NBC, one of those, CBS, whoever it was. And the spokesperson went on, and she was on saying, I can't believe first time home buyers are, getting their mortgage at 7%. And this was like Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? So again, just you've perfectly put it. There's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of news, right? News. Getting it up to date is probably the most important thing. When I heard that, I was just like, dude, what planet is this lady on? And to go on a nationally broadcasted deal or whatever, and literally scaring people, right, is how I see it, right? If you're telling buyers that they're going to be at 7%, I mean, you're trying to scare people, and it's
definitely
that's just crazy to me.
And that very well may have been true. There probably is some uneducated buyer out there that got stuck with a 7% loan,
Yeah.
because they weren't using a quality agent and a quality loan officer. And I'm sure there's somebody did get stuck with 7% and they made a story out of it
Yeah.
to get views and clicks. So
Yeah, for sure.
make sure you're getting your news from us. We're not here for clicks and clicks and views.
Oh no. Oh no.
But you can't hit that subscribe button and that
Right.
bell.
And that doorbell, baby. Doorbell, whatever the bell is.
All right, man. Well, let's get some outro music going, maybe. We'll see you all next week.
See y'all.
Bye.